The opposition has released its alternative budget priorities for the 2026-2027 financial year, warning that the government's proposed budget is unsustainable due to rising debt and ambitious revenue targets.
At first glance, the proposed national budget appears to be growing.
Opposition leaders led by Joel Ssenyonyi say the proposed 84 trillion shillings budget is misleading, noting that a large portion is already committed to debt servicing and administrative costs.
Government projects an expenditure of over 84 trillion shillings. But when we take a close look, we find a different story. One of a shrinking fiscal space and growing pressure on citizens. This leaves very little for the actual services that Ugandans depend on: healthcare, education, roads, and economic support.
The opposition further warns that Uganda's growing debt burden is affecting service delivery. They estimate that for every shillings 1,000 collected in revenue, about 331 shillings goes to servicing loans.
Construction company also got free money for no work done. 263 billion shillings was selectively given to them. Unlike the others, the excuse was that this was a bailout to the struggling company, as if other businesses are not struggling. We have time and again asked government to come up with a modus operandi for bailouts, because bailouts are understandable even globally. But when you selectively handpick a few connected people who have friends, relatives, in-laws, and outlaws in government, and you give them free taxpayer money, and no one is held accountable for this, it is wrong.
Meanwhile, Julius Mukonda, Executive Director of the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group, cautioned that over-ambitious revenue targets could force the government into more borrowing or budget cuts.
Debt is beginning to bite us seriously, because we are seeing that out of 84 trillion, 39.2% is allocated to debt servicing. So you are really remaining with a little money for you to be able to finance your own development expenditure.
The opposition is now proposing reduced borrowing, clearing domestic areas, and stricter debt control measures to stabilize the economy.
Government must account for false promises like the Loboa Specialized Hospital. Over 700 billion shillings has so far been spent on this botched project. But there is no hospital. It is weakened. Corruption continues to erode public trust. We must strengthen institutions such as the Auditor General, the Inspectorate of Government, and Parliament's oversight committees. In education, increased enrollment has not been matched with quality. We have quality education as opposed to quantity education. We have got quantity education as opposed to quality education. Overcrowded classrooms, poorly paid teachers, and inadequate infrastructure, all of which continue to undermine learning outcomes. Invest in just access, but in quality, ensuring that education equips our young people with real skills for the future.
As debate on the national budget continues, lawmakers are expected to face tough decisions on balancing development goals with the country's rising debt.